everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So 1 year after Paul Schrader presented us with his ultra classic Taxi Driver, he was at it again with yet another movie about a Vietnam veteran dispatching his own brand of justice. But according to the man himself, the studio basically took his original idea and turned it upside down and turned it into something that he absolutely hated and basically disavowed. The thing is that, is it any good though? That's what we're going to find out today. This is my review of Rolling Thunder. So William Devane, he plays Major Charles Rain, who has recently been released from a prison camp in Vietnam. He has come home to his hometown and he has become a bit of a celebrity, you could say, a local celebrity. But the thing is that this is not a big comfort to him, because you see, his son doesn't recognize him anymore, because, you know, when he left to fight in Vietnam, the boy was basically a baby, so he doesn't really remember his father. And his wife has basically, you know, moved on with her life and is boning this cop and basically wants a divorce. And this makes him a little bit peeved, who wouldn't? But he is presented with this beautiful red Cadillac at this sort of event, where it's also presented with $2,500 in silver dollars. That is the equivalent of essentially $16,000 today. He doesn't really know what to do with this bag of money and thinks that it is stupid. He will keep the car though, probably, but he is disillusionized and doesn't know what to do. But somebody knows what to do with those money, because one day he comes home only to find that there is a bunch of thugs you know, wanting to get hold of that money, and they beat him up. He won't tell them. They torture him. He still won't give up where he has hidden the money, because, you know, he remembers the training and he, you know, remembers what the Vietnamese used to do to him, and this is nothing compared to that. He will take it. They even chop off his fucking arm and he still won't tell them where the money is. Unfortunately, then comes the soon-to-be ex-wife and his son. And then they killed him. They killed him off screen, which I thought was a little bit... Why did they do that? If you want him to have a good motivation for, you know, a character to go out on revenge, show that you're killing his loved ones. And after he has, you know, gotten his, arm protest thing, you know, with a hook and all that stuff, he swears that he's going to, you know, go across the border to Mexico, where these guys are hanging out, and execute his own form of justice, aka good old-fashioned revenge, because, you know, the cops, of course, can't do jack shit about this thing. And he goes about with a woman that he has met who wants to be his friend, or maybe something else, we shall see. That is essentially the movie. It's not a bad idea. We're having, in a way, Charles Bronson wannabe guy who goes down into Mexico, and we have, you know, good revenge things going on, and then we have, you know, him either, you know, die trying, or, you know, finds a new purpose in life after he has taken, you know, the revenge, blah, blah, blah. It has been done before, and potentially it could have been very, very good storytelling. It isn't. It's clumsy and it is ineffectively told. And also, William Devane is not a very good actor, in my opinion. I don't really care about what's going to happen to him. I don't think he even mentioned his wife or his son's name after it has happened. Maybe that is by design. And maybe, you know, it is also by design that, you know, he doesn't seem to want anything. He just, you know, goes in head first without any preparations or planning or anything like that. Or once again, that may be because of that is how the character is supposed to be, you know, designed, and that might be because he's supposed to be this nihilistic character that we're supposed to somehow be interested in what he's going to do. Side note, I'm not. Some other people may be. But the fact is that if that was true, then you would have required a better actor than we have at the moment, because he's not interesting, he's not charismatic, and he is a bit boring. You have a perfectly good Tommy Lee Jones just sitting there, and he could have played that character. If they would have switched places, that, you know, William would have played Johnny, and Tommy Lee Jones would have played the Major, I think we could have had a much better movie. It would still have had roughly the same problems that we have now, and clumsy, herky-jerky and ineffectively told story. But it might have worked better. However, this movie is sort of kind of a bit redeemed in the end, where they have this fantastic ending, which I thought was excellent, and also a little bit, why didn't you do this earlier? There's probably some kind of reason why that is the case, but the ending was freaking awesome. But it is also where we have more of the participation of Tommy Lee Jones. I think that this movie is supposed to have some kind of an almost cult following these days, and is looked upon far better than it was in the late 70s when it was released. But for me, it was just a sort of kind of combination of Death Wish and Taxi Driver, and quite inferior to both of those movies. I'm not a huge fan of Death Wish either, but it was still a better movie than this. Rolling Thunder felt like it had a lot to say, but weren't allowed to say it, or didn't say it loud enough. It doesn't really feel like we're following, you know, this tormented war veteran. And it doesn't really have to do anything with the Vietnam War either. This could have been either guy, you know, doing either things, because the Vietnam War is very downplayed, maybe because of the studio interference, I don't know, but it feels like this was just, you know, something that was sort of shoehorned into the whole thing. We have to do a little bit of this to get to the point where we want to go. I don't know, but Rolling Thunder is not a movie I'm ever going to watch again. It's not a movie that I thought was very effectively told. I thought that the acting, apart from Tommy Lee Jones, was lackluster. And I also thought that, you know, Major and the woman didn't have good chemistry together, and all their bitching and moaning that they did was uninteresting, and I didn't care what was going to happen to them. I cared about what was going to happen to Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. I cared what was going to happen to Paul Kersey in Death Wish. I couldn't give a shit about what was going to happen to this guy. This was a movie that was on the precipice of achieving something, but just felt like a lackluster late 70s thriller with not a lot going on for itself. This is one of these movies where the more I think about it, the less good I think this movie actually gets. I give Rolling Thunder 28 points. It is a lackluster, not very good thriller that has good ideas to it that are ineffectively told, leading up to what is a good finale, but it is a little bit of too little too late. They couldn't quite pull a Hail Mary out of this one, but the ending was at least something that made this movie worth seeing, but I'm not recommending this movie. So I'll see you next time from Well So and So Reviewing. Well, such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.